Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So glad you could join us. Today we're going to be talking about radio position finding, or RPF as we're going to call it. So right off the bat, you're going to see as soon as this hits 0, you see this icon in the middle, it's going to automatically snap, and there it goes, to the closest enemy target relative to your position. This is a tier 4 captain talent. It's been in the game for, maybe about a month now. So a lot of you have already tried it out, and I see a lot of people in the game that have it. You know that somebody has it when you're the closest person out, and you'll get a little icon where the spotted icon is supposed to be, and it'll just say detected. And that's when you know that you're being pointed at by this little arc thing that you see kind of in the dead center of my screen. Now this thing will move based on what it's actually tracking. By that, this is going to be a tutorial to explain what is RPF, how does it work, and more importantly, how do you actually utilize it. So I'm heading to C, and I can see that the arc is pointing in this general direction, and there you saw it just snap. That gives me the information that there's multiple targets approaching A, and one just moved in front of another, which probably means a destroyer. And so I use this knowledge in it, and I'm going to Shiratsuyu to pull off, and sure enough there's a Pensacola, and I really don't want to mess with the Pensacola. But he's not the only one in here, because you remember the target snapped, and you can see I'm pointed at where I think the enemy, where the indicator is, and it's not pointing at the Pensacola, which means there's another target in there that I'm not seeing yet. In fact, the cap is now being taken, but the Pensacola, if you look at the mini-map, is not actually in the cap yet. So there is in fact a destroyer. So that's number one way of using RPF, is being able to discern that, and there's the smoke from the destroyer, so I was absolutely right. You can use RPF to basically avoid a fight if you want to. It gives you information. I have a general idea of where they're at, though I could do that without RPF right now because I see this giant plume of smoke, and I see that it's trailing. You see it's going off to the right here. So whatever destroyer is in there is laying down the smoke for the Pensacola, so that they can cap safely. So I'm going to just send torpedoes in, and I can see the RPF was kind of maybe going around that island, so I fire a preemptive one around there as well. That's a second way that you can use RPF, is you can discern the movement of an enemy. That icon, the tracer, if you're not moving your camera around, it will move left and right as the enemy moves. It will just always keep pointing at whatever is the most closest. And there's the destroyer, and you can tell that the icon is pointing at it. The other thing, and you saw me do it earlier, is if it snaps, that means something else has moved closer. So if you're looking at one thing, and you're outside of detection range, fine, you're tracking, you're hunting, and then all of a sudden it snaps to something else. Well, now whatever you're looking at, there's something else that you're not seeing that's even closer, and that can be an invaluable tool. I try and warn our battleship here, hey, there's a destroyer in that cap, long before we even spotted him. Doesn't seem like he's paying much attention. In fact, he takes a pot shot at our kamikaze R over there. I don't know what he's doing, so I'm just gonna kind of ignore him for now. So RPF is still pointing me into the smoke. I'm guessing, oh, and you saw the snap there. Okay, so both the destroyer and, well, there's the destroyer, so where's the Pensacola? The icon must be pointing at the Pensacola. If the destroyer's running away and it's not pointing at him, so the Pensacola's got to be right around there. You can see where, you know, where the RPF is pointing at. So he's still in that smoke. Yep, there he is. He has kind of gotten himself in a bad position. I'm going to try and lead him a little bit, because I'm going to assume that he's going to start running forward. Because he probably was not paying attention on when the smoke was going to run out. So I do pop my smoke. I know I saw that destroyer run off, so I'm not worried about him torping me. The Pensacola does not have radar, nor does it have torpedoes, so I am safe in here. I'm just going to farm a little bit of damage and try and scare him off in the process. I did send torpedoes at that incoming battleship. I didn't get a good glance. Yeah, there he is. And those are looking pretty good. RPF is still pointing at the Pensacola, so I know that the destroyer hasn't doubled back on me. And the battleship did take a torpedo. Unfortunately, it didn't cause flooding. Supposedly, you know, the Japanese torpedoes have the highest rate of causing flooding, but RNGesus hates me. The Pensacola has gotten further away than the battleship now, and you can see that RPF is now pointing directly at him. And since it's pointing at him and the Pensacola ran and it's not pointing at the destroyer, then I know it's pretty safe, as long as I don't pull a Notzer here, that I can go and take this cap behind them. The battleship is outside of my detection range. Well, almost. Oh no, yep, there we go. Well, and so there's a weakness of RPF. So I saw the RPF icon. I thought it was pointing at the battleship, but it just happened that this enemy destroyer was dead in front of the battleship. So I mistook it pointing at the battleship, and it was actually pointing at the destroyer that was even closer. So that's my mistake. And we got random enemy torpedoes. Yeah, let's go ahead and repair the engine there. And just ensure that I have enough maneuverability to get out of the way, because that would have been rather embarrassing. And now let's see if I can save. Nope, his torpedoes are off. So we're going to lose our battleship because the battleship did not heed the warnings that we gave him. Oh well. At least the destroyer is dead. And I'm going to get this nice solo cap and all the juicy experience points and money from it. Apparently somebody is very salty about the people who went to the A group, which would be my group. My guess, if I were to pull up the scoreboard right now, is he's one of the dead people. And looking at the mini-map down in the south, he's probably one of those dead bodies down there. And he went headlong into the majority of their team and didn't try and turn around or escape, or didn't have the opportunity, and now it's somehow our fault that we didn't die with him. So I'm going to ignore him. Alright, got the cap. Moving on, RPF is pointing slightly ahead of us. Another thing that RPF can do is let you know where to point your guns ahead of time. Not so much on this Shiratsu, because it's a torpedo boat, but sometimes, you know, the guns aren't too terrible. You can defend yourself at least. But more so on gunboats. I do use this on my Fletcher as well, and I will actively hunt down destroyers using RPF. And RPF just snapped there, so I've got 2 vessels up ahead in this smoke then. Or more. So I do have to be careful. There is a Belfast somewhere in there. Yeah, there he is. Okay, so that's not what RPF is pointing at though then. So there's a whole mess of things in this smoke around this island here. But they are the closest. RPF is pointing, you know, straight ahead at that island. So, oh, there's an enemy destroyer. Well, he's nice and low, and yeah, let's go ahead and take this shot and try and finish him off. Yeah, that was a terrible shot. What are you doing, Valkyrist? Alright, let's try that again. Lead him a little bit more. Guess I just didn't judge his speed well. Ah, that was much better. His first shot was pretty good, set me on fire, but I have a lot more hit points to work with right now. Caught him on fire. He's got some enemy plane torps coming in, and he grounded himself. We'll just finish him off. Okay, so we did just get fire come in over the hill. Did you see that? Okay, the destroyer's dead. But the RPF, you can see where it's pointing, right? It's pointing right at the edge of that island, and now I'm spotted. Now, I did fire my guns, so that's not entirely surprising, but there is one more destroyer left, a Shiratsu, same boat as me. So now I have exactly what I need to know. I know that there's another Shiratsu right over there.
Engine boost activated.
And he was within 10 kilometers of me because when I was spotted from firing my guns, there you go. But he's not within my own detection range at this point. And looking at, see how the icon keeps moving over to the left? He's slowly trying to flank around me, and I'm already starting to ping on the minimap telling the CV, hey, there's a DD there. And I really want our CV to come and spot that destroyer, because then I have all kinds of advantage. I'm going to work on the assumption that he's full health and I'm not, and so then that means that I'm at a disadvantage in that fight. On the bright side, I'm not spotted and I know he's back there, so I can just sail away from him. And I know that there's at least a Belfast in here, and I thought I saw a battleship also go into that smoke. So we're just going to torp and run and keep that RPF behind us and just kind of trail away from that destroyer. And yeah, he's definitely going my direction. However, he's not detecting me, so I can see my detection on the map and infer where he's actually at. And he stopped going left or right, so I think he's turned in towards me. So now he's flat out chasing me. So my torpedoes are getting close into that smoke. Let's see how we do. Oh. Oh no. Nice hits. Oh, it's not done yet. And double strike. Very nice. Alright. Well, that's perfect then, because the Belfast was the #1 threat on there because of his radar. So now I can turn in. There's nobody anywhere near Bravo now. I can turn in, I can take the cap, and I can also start using some of these islands as cover from the Shiratsu that's chasing me. Now the Shiratsu does not have RPF. He has a general inkling where I am, and so he has to know at least a little bit of how, you know, what he's doing, because clearly he's able to guesstimate where I am, and he's thinking to himself, well, if I was him, this is where I would go. And I'm just kind of keeping it, and finally my CV's paying attention. He's moving planes in. It took me almost to the point of spamming pings on the minimap, and there he is. He's much closer than I thought. Good lord. Alright, so we'll just send some torpedoes at him, and then I'm going to get in the cap and cut engines just a little bit. And as soon as he comes around and is visible, I'm going to kick engines again and make sure I don't get torpedoed. But he is turning off.
Torpedoes to port.
And I didn't even get spotted, which is nice. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now he definitely knows where I am. He did somehow torpedo beat that entire group, so I give him a lot of credit on that. That was a very good dodge. I was right. He definitely knows what he's doing. However, he has now been spotted by the CV, and assuming the CV has any inkling of knowledge to him, he is not going to get away. Unfortunately for him, he knows that I have RPF. Like, he's been detected this entire time by RPF. So he knows that just popping smoke and sitting in it is not going to save him. So this is the other thing that the RPF can do is, you saw how I used it to avoid. You can also use it to confirm where things are. Like, he's not spotted now, but I still know he's over there. I saw which direction he was. I have confirmation on RPF where he's going. He's never going to get away from me in this fight now. Like, his chance to actually fight me is now over because I extended that fight. And because I took out that Belfast and the battleship, now he doesn't have any help. And because of those opening salvos where I could see him and he couldn't see me, we've now changed it from me being hurt and him being full health to me still being just slightly hurt and him being on a shred of health. There's nothing he can do about this. This fight is over. The game is over. I mean, the best he could have done was kept turning into me and trying to force a fight and, you know, trying to get lucky on that. I think he's trying to desperation go after the carrier, which, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. I just, with me flat on his heels, I don't think it's going to do him any good. And we're just getting little onesies and twosies that kept him from capping A, and he's just running. Like, he doesn't know what to do with himself now at this point. While he had the advantage, he tried to press the attack, but RPF let me know that he was coming. And I just extended out until the odds were favorable for me. I think that's part of the controversy behind RPF is it let me dictate the fight, and in that regard, like, the information that it gave kind of made it an unfair advantage. But how did we do? Did 12,000 XP that was with a bunch of modifiers. We got Confederate double strike, which is always nice, and a devastating strike. 110,000 damage, 3 kills. That's not bad at all. Not my best game in the world, but I'll take it. We got 2,300 base XP, which is almost a full 1,000 more than anybody else in the game. So clearly I was pulling my weight on that one. So RPF is a really powerful tool, but you really need to have forethought and think about strategy and how you actually want to use it. So I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.